Hello, my name is Maya with a J and a Y, and today we are doing a review of Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. It's a dark adult fantasy trilogy. It's called The Nevernight Chronicles, and I read the first novel and I want to talk about it. It's by Jay Kristoff, and he wrote also the science fiction young adult trilogy Illuminate Chronicles. I'm not gonna talk about Illuminate because I didn't like it, but if you didn't like Illuminate, you will love Nevernight. I don't think these two are exclusive because there's such different books. I don't know, I can't wrap my head around the fact that Jay Kristoff wrote both Illuminate and Nevernight because they're so different. Anyway, I already filmed this review and then I realized that my microphone wasn't on, so I'm just like, I'm so miserable right now. This is my fourth time filming this review because the first two times I was so dissatisfied and I have to eat something because it's already lunchtime, but I'm doing this, okay? I'm doing this. Banana chips. Almost as good as the book Nevernight, but not quite. Why? So this book starts with a bang scene, like in the middle of action we see Mia and her first assassination that she does in order to get into this Assassin's Academy. Then we are kind of turned back to Mia and 10 years old when she saw her father get hanged, her mother and brother, young brother, like baby brother, sent to prison, and the Illuminati, the secret priest police, try to kill her, but then she escapes and accidentally finds this retired assassin Mercurio who takes her under her wing, and then he teaches her his ways in order for her to get into this Assassin's Academy. She thinks that getting into this Assassin's Academy will give her the skill set to avenge her family, so she has like a list of 3 men that she has to kill in order to avenge her family. So this is kind of a summary of the book, but the book is much more than that. I said at the beginning it's like Harry Potter in Hogwarts, like this Assassin's Academy is definitely like Hogwarts only for adults because it has assassinations, psychopathic teenagers, magic, and also a competition for the 4 places, the 4 people that can actually become assassins. That's another thing. Out of these 15-16 teenagers who enroll into the academy, only 4 of them can become assassins. And then it's like Game of Thrones because it's plot twisty, it's intriguing, it's got strategies, and every character is met with this clash between emotional side and rational analytical side, and analytical side always wins. Characters are so logical and rational. I love that because I think there's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of emotional dramatic characters in fantasy that just do some things that make no sense, and I'm really annoyed at that. But in Nevernight, I think his characters are all traumatized and they think they know what's best for them and they try to hide their feelings or just bury their feelings, and they do things that they think they should do based on weighing the facts and not their emotions. I love that. We have 2 parts. So we have 2 things that are very important to this book: the world building and the character building. And I think the character building takes the first place, while the world building is mostly happening through footnotes. Yeah, footnotes. Like you have an action scene and then you see number 1, number 2, number 3, and it's something about the bridge that the action scene is happening on, something about the history of the bridge, stuff like that, you know. Some people who were really annoyed are still annoyed at this type of writing. For me, I think footnotes were one of the most fun things in the book. I read the footnotes always at the end of the chapter, so I was reading the chapter, I finished the chapter, and then I would go back and read the footnotes, so the footnotes did not throw me off the story, but they definitely enriched the story so much, because every footnote is like, oh, hashtag yoga. Okay, every footnote is like a whole small story. It has a punchline, it's got characters that are characterized so great, like in one sentence, in one word, and you're like, oh my god, I love this character, and it's only appearing in the footnote and I will never see them again. But it's so great, it's so great. Like every footnote could become a whole nother book. This is how these footnotes are great. Narration of the book is really particular. For example, we have this character not really a character, the narrator, who is referring to us, the readers, as gentle friends, and he or they is like telling us the story of Mia. So we can really see their character and humor through these footnotes. And some people were really annoyed at the humor, that they did not feel like that was their type of humor. For me, I love the humor, so I love the footnotes. So it really depends. I think you will either love or hate. I don't think there's any middle ground when it comes to these footnotes. But even if you hate the footnotes, like, don't be swayed away from the story, because the storyline is totally like void of this humor and narrators' quirks. So yeah, the storyline definitely just continue. Another great thing about this is that Mia has powers. She has this shadow cat, like her shadow takes a form of a cat, which is kind of like another sentient being and totally rational, analytical, logical being. So whenever Mia kind of strays from what she needs to do because of her emotions, because she's human, right? I lost my train of thoughts because Amazon came and I forgot what I was saying. The narrator is really particular. If you love him, you will love him. If you hate him, you will hate him. I don't know. I think this is definitely Jay Kristoff. His kind of personality comes through this book, and it's a really particular, strong personality. So at the beginning I was kind of annoyed because I wasn't like used to this type of writing and his personality kind of getting through the story. But then once you like get used to it, it's fine. Trust me, like, you will be in the story, you will follow Mia, you will be able to relate to her no matter how the narration is being done. And also the writing style, I think the metaphors Jay Kristoff uses are really unique, and they definitely bring to the story. They make story really imaginative, and they are enriching not just the story but like the whole world and the characters and just the whole reading experience. For me, there was no breaths being held and then released. No metaphors that you've ever encountered in other books. It's really dense writing sometimes, so you really have to take a rest. I really had to take a lot of pauses while reading this. Otherwise, I would have read it like in one sitting if I had time, and if it wasn't so a lot, you know. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of things happening, there's a lot of plot twists that you just have to take some time to recover, you know. A lot of scheming, a lot of strategies and betrayals, and you're just like, give me a rest. My heart can't take it. Then you also have Mia's power, which is her shadow taking the form of a cat, which is called Not Cat in the book. And this Not Cat is like a sentient being, and it's this pure rationality, I would say, pure logical side of Mia. Whenever Mia wants to do something that is kind of emotion based, this cat is like, Mia, hello, this is like the analytical, this is like the logical thing that you should do, what are you doing? So it goes back and forth, like you see this Mia being torn between her emotions for another boy and what she should do, you know, in order to avenge her family. But yeah, this love story plot is definitely secondary to the main plot, and chapter 31 is all I'm gonna say. Chapter 31. This is when I died and went to heaven or hell. I don't know where I am, but chapter 31, everyone. Tears. If I had, like, my eyes are so dry, I can't even like make myself sparkle in my eyes, if you know what I mean. But just pretend I have like emotions on my face. This is my 4th time filming this review because things happened and I'm dead inside. Fade out. This book, just like me, is not emotional. It's got a lot of characters that are psychopaths because, you know, these teenagers are in this school of assassins and they all want to become assassins. And they're really, yeah, they all scheme, they all murder, they all compete against each other, and they all want this one of 4 places to become assassins. And you don't know anyone's like drives. You know their stories, like why they want to become assassin, but everyone has their hidden agenda, so it's really interesting and intriguing to read and to be like, it's not like clear who will become who will win. Even if Mia is the main character, like, it doesn't mean shit. Trust me. Maybe the characters who are more exposed than the others, it doesn't mean that they will live or something. Like, everything you know about books, this book, Nevernight, will break everything you think you know. Because you don't know anything. I don't know anything. No one knows anything. Just read the book. You will still know nothing, but at least you will have read this beautiful book. There's some allegories as well happening. For example, this republic is definitely like Renaissance Italy / Venice. It's a republic, it's a democratic, you know, country, but we have this main guy who is like on the top, and he is already on the top for like 6 years, and I think every 4 years a new leader should be voted, but he's like kind of like Hitler, and this is kind of like Nazi Germany, or like republic that is turning into a fascist country, so there's definitely some social commentary happening here. We also have a religious system which has a female god and a male god, and male god is like the main god, the god of light. Illuminati are a part of this religion, and the whole republic is like in the god of light. And then we have the assassins and Mia and other female strong characters, which are a part, I mean, there's also some men as well, which are a part of this female goddess religion. So there's this clash between the heretics, the female heretics, and the male, you know, the god of all, the one we should all worship. So there's definitely an allegory there as well. Some kind of allegory. I just want to seem smart, so I'm just throwing allegories into things. So this library concept in the academy is the main reason why the academy was so reminiscent of Hogwarts, because, you know, Hogwarts library, the forbidden section, blah blah blah, and then you have this library in this assassin academy, and all of the books that are there are the books that died in real world. I'm losing my voice is being lost. What is life? The library. Yeah, this is where we are. So this library in Nevernight is a library that holds all of the books that died in real world. That means like books that were destroyed, that were never written, that burned down, that disappeared. All of these books are the books that exist in this library. I love that concept. And I was like immediately like, oh, the Library of Alexandria. So Mia can literally find all the books. Can she though? It's a strange library. It's a magical library. And it's really hard to find books that you need. Like, you can just go, your whole life spent in this library, and there will be some sections that you will never find. It's really dark and really interesting. Another thing, lastly, that I want to mention is also the philosophical side of the book, kind of, because you don't have black and white. You don't have characters that are inherently evil or characters that are inherently good. You have moral gray area, and this is the book. Like, this whole book is like morally gray area. All of the characters could be called anti-heroes, although not really heroes at all. So I don't know how to call them, but they're all just like have good bad sides and just trying to survive, you know. The philosophical thing about this book is the fact that Mia actually questions herself. Like, she wants to avenge the family, you know, the death of her family. She wants to kill these 3 men, but if she becomes an assassin, she will also kill other people. So she questions that, like, these other people are a part of some other families. They have their own families, and, you know, this is a continuous circle then. She avenges her family, kills some other people, they want to avenge their families maybe, you know, it's a whole circle of life. Yeah, let me just wrap this up real quick. You will love this book if you loved Game of Thrones, if you loved Six of Crows, because the atmosphere is definitely Six of Crows. You have traumatized characters, and you have this type of Venice-inspired Renaissance setting, and also like really sociopathic characters that are beautiful and just worthy of your love. Brandon Sanderson, if you liked his books, I think the magical system is as unique as Brandon Sanderson's. Revenge plot is similar to Brandon Sanderson. Then also if you liked To Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer, because the narrator is kind of similar to Like the Lightning, they both refer to us, the readers, as like gentle friends or something. Yeah, so the narration is really similar. And also you will love Nevernight if you love like dark magical school settings and teenagers who were forced to grow up too quickly with really dark backstories, because stories of some of the characters are just insane, okay? They're insane. And you will also love this book if you love betrayals and friendships and not knowing who to trust and then breaking those friendships and scheming, plot twists, some very shocking plot twists. There are 2 scenes in the desert and they're like Mad Max Fury Road on steroids. It's insane. These desert scenes are insane. They're so evocative and they're in your head. Like, this whole book is in your head, but these desert scenes are especially in your head, so be careful of the desert scenes. They're great. Please read this book and tell me in the comments if you've read it, if you want to read it. Let's talk about this book. Let's talk about this book. And wow, I've lost my voice, I've lost my mind 4 times filming this video. I think it's time to wrap it up. Banana chips.